How's you going? So, you have 150K to invest. And this video came to mind when I was doing my taxes. And it popped in my head and I was like, hey, this is a good video to make. So, 150K to invest. Cash sitting there. Cash money, balling. You could have bought a Lambo, but you decided to do the smart thing and buy yourself some rental property. So, for the sake of easy numbers, just stick with me here. Similar deal, similar area, similar layout, similar rents, literally similar everything. Two buildings right next to each other. Picture this. You can buy, with that 150, you could buy a 600K property financed using 25% down, 150. I hope my math is right. As a down payment, right? So let's just say each unit's 50K. So that 600K would get you 12 units. I really hope my math is right. I didn't plan this out. Or your other option is you can buy 150K. With your 150K in cash, you can buy a property that's only 3 units. So you can buy that outright in cash, right? Just bear with me. There's a point to all this. So, which one would you take and why, right? And there's a lot of things to consider, right? What's more important, right? Some people hate financing, some people don't, blah, 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 right? Other than like the scale aspect and the more income you're getting and the more kind of everything that the 12 units, the 600K, the financed version would get you. Another thing to really take into consideration that I think is very, very important, and again, this is why this came to me when I was doing my taxes, is because we bought some stuff in cash and we bought some stuff financed last year. And I would, not that I like didn't like consciously think of it, but it like just like a little light bulb turned on in my head. Like I was like, bing. So the point I'm trying to make is that 150K, right? Obviously it goes much further with the financing, right? But another super, super important thing to like look at when you're, let's say you're trying to make the decision between these two, rental properties, would be looking at it from, let's just say that you depreciated the property like normal, right? So from a depreciation standpoint. And not to say that this is like why you would invest because of the depreciation. I mean, it is, but it's not, all the other factors play into it. But I think this is something that's important to consider, right? So think about it this way, right? Every property you can depreciate on a just like normal schedule in 27 and a half years. So essentially you divide the purchase price of the property by 27 and a half and you get the amount that you can depreciate yearly, right? Cool. So on the 150K property, if you divide that by 27 and a half, you're at $5,000-ish, right? Which, okay, you can depreciate $5,000 a year. That's not bad. Okay, cool, right? But if you look at that same 150, or not the same 150, the depreciation you can take on the 600K building with that same 150 that you're putting down, 600 divided by 27 and a half, that's like $21-ish thousand, right? So the difference between $5,000 and 21K is huge, right? And that pretty much all came from using either your 150 here or your 150 there, right? So when you're making a decision, I think it's obvious like what the decision would be. And this is ignoring all other factors, right? I'm saying like these things are like the exact same. They're right next to each other, so you can't argue the area. They're just at market rent. Like don't even think about any of that. Just focus on this part, right? So your 150 cash gets you $5,000 of depreciation-ish a year, and your 150 over here for the $600,000 building gets you $21-ish thousand in depreciation a year. So obviously, from that standpoint, you want the more depreciation, right? And obviously it makes more income and blah, 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 blah. That stuff doesn't matter. But the point of this is to kind of relay that your 150 financed to on a bigger building gets you more depreciation, not appreciation. So that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make, right? So hopefully this helped, and hopefully I didn't ramble, and hopefully I did my math correctly. But when you're considering something and trying to decide between leveraged or not leveraged, I think it's important to take into account the tax benefit, right? Because that it's not even really unit numbers, it's the same amount of money getting you $5,000 or 20 something $1,000 in depreciation a year, right? The same amount of money. So I think that's super, super important. Plus there's other stuff that go into play, but simple, short video that wasn't very short because I rambled, but take that into consideration, and it doesn't have to be right that much money. It could be less or more, whatever, right? But you kind of get the point I'm talking about. Same amount of money and invested, but the depreciation is drastically different, right? It's 4 times greater, right? That's huge from a depreciation standpoint. So anyway, hope this video helped. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I got my sombrero on because taxes are a huge fiesta. So have a great night, and I'll see you on the next one. Too bad the button doesn't work. Still not working. All right.